Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not sure how this is going to work out this time because it's the first time that we do it like this, but I'm pretty sure that it will be effective because I've been doing this for 3 years since the pandemic, and lots of students have benefited from classes online like this. Before we begin, I want to let everyone know that I'm going to be doing 3 rounds of Quizlet Live at the end of the session here. So please have your phones charged if you want to use your phones for Quizlet Live, or set aside a window on your computer so that you can play Quizlet Live on there. You will see different options on the screen for Quizlet Live, but it will be with a delay, so it's not the same game that you will be playing. I'll put a code in the chat box for you, and that is the code that you will use. Make sure that everybody has their books. I have this digital copy of the book on there for you, so you can follow on the screen if by any chance you don't have the books with you, but it would be better if you had the books with you for this. Tomorrow I have something planned for you as well that's going to be done online. You're going to have an interview that you're going to watch and write some questions. What I'm going to do is provide you the questions and the links to everything that you need on Canvas so that you can access it. Okay, so let's get started. Make sure that you can type in the chat box. You can log in with your Gmail account, or if you have a YouTube account. If your YouTube account is not your name, let me know what the YouTube account is, because I can only mark you present in this class if I know that you're typing and participating in the class. So let me know what your YouTube name is. I can already see some people typing in. So let's start with this. Right behind me, you see a screenshot. And I want you to tell me, just type in the chat if you remember where this is from. I want everyone to type in, even if you see that someone else has already typed your answer, it doesn't matter, because I'll look back into the entire broadcast and I'll read the chat replay and I'll see who has replied and who has typed something. So it's very important that everyone participates actively, because that's the only way that I can guarantee that I know that people are in here. So as you can see, that's a screenshot from John is Awful, the Black Mirror episode that we watched. And I want you to tell me, just in a couple of phrases, what was the episode about? Please type in. Does everybody agree that, although, because we had this discussion in class, and a lot of the students have said AI is a good thing. Artificial intelligence is a good thing. It's very positive. It can help in many areas. A lot of the students were on the same page about that, saying that AI is a positive aspect of modern times. After watching this episode, do you still believe that? Or do you think perhaps in this particular situation in the episode that you watched, it wasn't positive? Please type. What were some of the very negative situations that were caused due to AI in the episode that you watched? Can anybody tell me? That person was affected negatively throughout the entire process because once her life was put on TV and every minute of her life was recorded and broadcast into the world, that person no longer had any privacy. Do you remember what the person lost because of AI? Privacy was number one, but what else did this person lose because of AI? Her job? What else? The man that she was living with left her. Was it because of AI or was it because of something else? How many of you agree that it was not just because of AI, but there was something else that was wrong with that situation? There's no right or wrong answer to this. It is basically a matter of opinion. Some people think, oh no, it wasn't that bad. Losing her job was bad, but losing the man, that was probably not really AI's fault. She wasn't happy, right? So we have finished watching that episode. We will be working on some other aspects from that episode later on. The vocabulary that you learned. This is a class for data technology and electronics and electricity, so it's very important that these themes that we talk about are all connected. So technology plays a big part in that episode. Now moving on, if everybody has the book, we're going to go straight here. Let me show you. Right, so I'm using the book on the digital version of the book, and it doesn't give me a page number, but it says text 1, 5 ways social media can be good for teens. And if you go back to where we were last class we talked about discussing the future. We talked about different ways. This is the page where we were last class, right? Discussing. So if you move on 1 to a couple of pages down, after that, you'll get to a page where it says netizens. This is what the page should look like. I'll give you a couple of, a little while to look. Netizens, in-depth topic. So we've been talking about the internet, technology, modern times. We've been talking a lot about that lately. And I told you last class that we would be discussing social media and the internet and how these aspects of life nowadays influence our lives. So let's talk about netizens. What is a netizen? Please type in chat. What is a netizen? A netizen, let me show you. On this page it says a netizen. A netizen is a person who uses the internet. How many of you are netizens? How many of you consider yourselves netizens? I would say all of you are netizens. You're citizens of the internet. I need you to type in chat so I know that you're following what I'm saying. It's very important. I'm going to be looking at the chat. I'll be looking at the chat to see who's typing. And I'm also typing in the chat as I speak so you can see that I can see right now what you're typing. A netizen is a person who uses the internet. So the first text that we're going to read, text number 1, 5 ways social media can be good for teens. It is very important that everybody listens and reads at the same time. Very, very important. I'm going to play the audio as you listen.
Twitter, Facebook, and other large social networks expose kids to important issues and people.
Hang on. I'm going to start from the beginning.
From all over the world. Kids realize.
I'm going to play it from the very beginning.
Five Ways Social Media Can Be Good for Teens by Caroline Knorr. For a few years, many teens have been saying that social media, despite its flaws, is mostly positive. New research is shedding light on the good things that can happen when kids connect, share, and learn online. As kids begin to use tools such as Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and even YouTube in earnest, they're learning the responsibility that comes with the power to broadcast to the world. Here are some of the benefits of teens being on social media. It lets them do good. Twitter, Facebook, and other large social networks expose kids to important issues and people from all over the world. Kids realize they have a voice they didn't have before. It strengthens friendships. Studies show that social media helps teenagers make friends and keep them. It can offer a sense of belonging. While heavy social media use can isolate kids, studies have found that although American teens have fewer friends, they're less lonely than teens in past decades. They report feeling less isolated and have become more socially adept, partly because of an increase in technology use. It provides genuine support. Online acceptance can help teenagers not feel alone. For example, if a kid is interested in an unusual subject that isn't considered cool, or is grappling with sexual identity. It helps them express themselves. Producers and performers can satisfy the desire for self-expression through social media. Digital technology allows kids to share their work with a wider audience and even collaborate with far-flung partners.
Now, the most important thing that we'll do with this is that you will express your opinions about it. Do you agree with all of these 5 things? Please type in chat if you agree or disagree. I need to see that everyone is participating, so it's very important that you do. It's very important that you do type in chat. How many of you agree with the part that it says it strengthens friendships? Does it make it easier for you to communicate with your friends? How many of you communicate with your friends, not in person, but online? Please type in chat. And how do you communicate online? What type of apps or what type of media types do you use to communicate? Type in chat which is your favorite app to communicate. I realize that most people list Snapchat as the way to communicate with their friends. What makes Snapchat more effective, or why do you prefer Snapchat over the other apps? Please type in chat. Why do you prefer that particular app? I can see what everyone's typing in chat, and I can see how many people are answering all of the questions and how many people are not. So, and I can look at the list of participants on the top so I know who is in here, who's not. So now we're going to move on to text number 2, and it's the last one that we're going to do. It's a very sad story, so I'm preparing already for that. But I feel like it's important for people to be aware that this actually happens. And I'd like to hear your opinions about that as well. The text is, after Matt passed away, his parents realized how special his gaming life was. And I'm going to play it in its entirety for you. It's the last one that we're going to do, and then we're going to do 3 rounds of Quizlet Live. So please make sure that you have your phone's charged, or that you can leave a window open so that we can do that. Please find the text in your book. It's text number 2. After Matt passed away, his parents realized how special his gaming life was.
After Mods passed away, his parents realized how special his gaming life was. By Vicky Schobert. Robert and Truda mourned their son's lonely life, bound to a wheelchair. But when Mods died, friends all over Europe lit candles in his honor. Robert says, "When I went past Mott's basement flat during the day and saw the curtains were drawn, I remember how sad I felt. Oh no, I thought, he hasn't even started the day yet. I was sad because his world was so limited, but people who aren't into gaming don't see everything. We thought it was all about the game, and that was it. We thought it was all about winning a competition." Lisette Rouvers, 28, from Breda, the Netherlands, was one of Mott's closest gaming friends. Now she is in Norway visiting Kai Simon Fredriksson, 40, who also gamed with Mott. At Kai Simon's home, Lisette says, "I knew Mott for many years. It was a shock when he died. She was just 15 years old when she met the 1 year older Mott, or more precisely, when Lisette's avatar Rumer met Mott's avatar Ibelin. We met in Goldshire," Lisette continues. I, or Rumer, was a little impulsive. I jumped from behind some bushes and grabbed Ibelin's hat. I stood still for a second, and we looked at each other. Then I ran off with his hat, says Lisette, smiling. Mott also wrote about this first meeting in a blog post he called Love. In this other world, this girl does not see a wheelchair or anything different. What she sees is my soul, my heart, conveniently situated in a handsome, strong body. Fortunately, in this virtual world, every character looks great. In the summer of 2013, the 24-year-old Mott started his blog, Musings of Life. In a post entitled My Escape, Mott writes about life in Azeroth. "There my handicap doesn't matter. My chains are broken. I can choose to be whoever I want to be. There I feel normal." Mott shared his blog with the members of the Starlight Guild, so they learned about their fellow players' real-life situation. In Starlight, she is Chit, a rough and down-to-earth character. In real life, she is Anne Hamill, 65, from Salisbury, England. a retired psychologist and enthusiastic gamer. Anne finds it fascinating how the Starlight community functions for people who are often outsiders in the real world. In roleplay, we meet each other without bias, so Starlight feels safe, also for those who see themselves as different. Online gaming is a fantastic arena for meeting people and building friendships, says Anne. It gives you the opportunity to discover each other's qualities without the stereotypes from the physical world getting in the way. Only after we've really gotten to know each other do we start to share things like age, gender, disability, and life situation, if it feels right. And then she adds, I think that Mats was lucky to belong to our technological age. Had he been born 15 years earlier, he would not have found a community like Starlight. On 18th November 2014, Mats died. Robert wrote a blog post about Mats' death the day after he passed away. I sat on the sofa crying while I was writing it. Then I hit send, not knowing if there would be any replies. After a couple of hours, the first reply arrived. Heartfelt condolences from one of the Starlight gamers. I read it out loud. It made such an impression. It is with heavy heart I write this post for a man I never met, but knew so well. He transcended his physical boundaries and enriched the lives of people all over the world. Another said, Mats' passing has hit me very hard. I can't put into words how much I'll miss him. Robert adds, there was this whole society, a tiny nation of people on a scale that we had no idea existed. More and more messages arrived that bore witness to the significance Mats had. I don't believe that one single person is the heart of Starlight, but if one was, it would have been him. Lisette from the Netherlands, Anne from England, Janina from Finland, Rika from Denmark, and Kai Simon from Høybråten attended the funeral. Speaking at the funeral, Kai Simon said, while we are gathered here today, a candle is being lit for Mats in a classroom in the Netherlands. A candle is burning in a call centre in Ireland, and in a library in Sweden. He is remembered in a little beauty parlour in Finland, in a municipal office in Denmark, and in many places in England. Mats is being remembered all over Europe by the many people who could not come here today. I met Mats in a world where it doesn't matter who you are, what kind of body you have, or what you look like in real life, behind the keyboard. What matters is who you choose to be and how you treat others. What matters is what is found here. He laid his hand on his temple, and here. He laid his hand on his heart. In his blog, Mats wrote about the computer screen he sat in front of for more than half his life. It's not a screen, it's a gateway to wherever your heart desires.
It's a very touching story. It's a very sad story, but there's also a lot of positivity that came out of it with the community that gathered for this person who died. So what we're going to do now is you have some questions. Let me show you. There are two things that you're going to do after we finish Quizlet Live. After we finish the 3 rounds of Quizlet Live, you're going to do the 3 questions about the text that we just listened to. There are 3 questions. You're going to type all of the answers on, you can use a document, either Notepad or Microsoft Word that you have on your computer, or you can type directly into Canvas and send it to me. You will have Anibadi to explain to you how you're going to do it. Only those 3 questions, and I don't want people to be just typing, for example, letter A. What was Matt's doing all day and night? Gaming. No, I want you to write a sentence that has a subject and a verb. What's a subject and a verb? If I say, Joanna played the piano. Joanna is the subject. Played is the verb. So you have to write a complete sentence for every answer. Very important that you do that. Write a complete sentence for every answer. And that's the only writing you're going to do today. And after that, you are dismissed. So let's get going with Quizlet Live. Please get your phones if that's what you're working with. And I'm going to give you a code in just a second. I'm going to put the code in the chat box. And after that, you can take a break. After the break, you will answer the questions and submit the questions on Canvas to me. What I'm playing on the screen behind me is a sample game, so don't pay any attention to that. Just pay attention to the game that you're playing on your phone or on your computer, okay? Use the code that I'm going to put in. Use the code I'm going to put in the chat box. We're going to do 3 rounds. Three rounds. So you can take a break now, and then when you come back from your break, write the 3 questions about the text that we read. Remember, complete answers. Subject, verb, and you're going to submit them on Canvas.